On this episode, we take a hypothesis about 3 factors that contribute to success in life and see if they apply to water-sensitive urban design. Stories about water and urban places. This is Ideanthro. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ideanthro. And welcome back to another That's Like WSUD episode, where we take an idea or a concept that we've heard about, read about, or otherwise come across and apply it back to water-sensitive urban design. On today's episode, we are going to be reflecting on a hypothesis about what leads to success that Ray Dalio, and I'll tell you in a second who Ray Dalio is, shared on a recent Tim Ferriss show podcast. Who is Ray Dalio? Ray Dalio grew up as a middle-class kid from Long Island. He started an investment company, Bridgewater Associates, out of a 2-bedroom apartment at age 26, and now has roughly 160 billion with a B in assets under management. Fortune considers Bridgewater to be the 5th most important private company in the United States. Dalio, according to Time, is one of the 100 most influential people in the world, and according to Forbes, one of the 100 wealthiest people in the world. Now, I don't know whether investment and banking and money is particularly your thing, but someone with those credentials has clearly, at least in some measures and some opinions, had a level of success. And I think it's worth reflecting on what his thoughts are on success and then seeing if they apply back to water-sensitive urban design. So what I'm going to do for you now, I'm just bringing it up here, I am going to play you a snippet of his interview with Tim Ferriss where he shared these thoughts. It runs for about a minute or so, and then we'll delve into it.
I think 3 things make up a successful life by and large. First, you have to have audacious goals, big dreams. Then, when you are headed toward those goals, you're going to have problems. You're going to deal with reality. You have to deal with those problems in that reality realistically, learning from mistakes, writing down those principles and the like. So that's the second part, dealing with reality in a practical way where you learn about mistakes. And then the third is determination. Because if you're going for your goals and you're encountering your mistakes and you're learning and you do that with determination, you're going to get better all the time. You can't help but get better. And you do that a long enough amount of time and you're going to far exceed your dreams. My success has far succeeded what I ever imagined, one bit at a time. And it's just that process.
And that's it. Essentially, in Ray Dalio's point of view, there's really 3 things that lead to success. There's having a big, old, audacious goal. There's realism in the face of challenges. There's a recognition that there will be challenges and things will go astray along the way, and it's how you realistically deal with them. And then it's determination in chasing that down. And I think this relates pretty well to the journey towards a water-sensitive city and the journey to implement water-sensitive urban design and manage our waterways and manage water in the cities and on from there, because that goal in itself is hugely audacious. I mean, let's be honest, right? The concept of reshaping the way we manage water in our cities, we manage drainage in our cities, the way we manage our waterways, the way we manage water supply, all of this is an incredibly audacious goal. There is so much embedded within society about how the way we do it currently, and there's so much good about that. There's so much that's not good about that as well. But there's so much good about that. The concept that we could fundamentally upend that and change it to something better is an incredibly audacious goal. And in step 2, in part 2, the challenges, we are already seeing those. If you think about water-sensitive urban design, it starts as a concept in Australia in like the mid-1990s. And it grows gradually, little bit by little bit, through the early 2000s, and then in like 2006, 2007, at least in Southeast Queensland where I'm from, there's some policies come in and certain aspects of it take off and the implementation skyrockets but within quite a narrow focus. And there are challenges with that. The sorts of assets that we receive are really, really challenging, not what people expected. In many respects, it hasn't lived up to what the promises and the expectations were. It hasn't lived up to the big audacious goal in the first instance. But if Ray's hypothesis is to hold true and to be believed, the making of actually having success in this space, of actually achieving the audacious goal, is in how we are able to realistically recognize those challenges, admit when things aren't going well, respond to them realistically, not respond to them with our head in the sand, la 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 la, it's not happening, not forget about our audacious goal either and run off and try and do something else, but recognize that actually the goal is right, the challenges are real, but what we need to get there is determination. Now, it's not to say determination to try and do it the way we initially envisaged it. The challenges might make us need to change direction to some degree, but there's still challenges that need to be overcome. So I take it out of this then that in that situation, if we have this big audacious goal, so let's look at water sensitive urban design. We have this big audacious goal, we start implementing stormwater treatment objectives. Stuff doesn't quite go the way we've planned, and quite rightly people recognise that, right, that's a problem, that's not good enough. And then we have a decision to make. On the one hand, we can make decisions that essentially take the pressure off, get rid of the problem, but also forget about the goal, right? And I'm going to be blunt. For me, I think stormwater offsets as they currently are applied in this space, so taking money from development to go build something elsewhere, is ignoring the problem. It's essentially giving up on, you know what, the goal of water sensitive urban design is to fundamentally change the way we do urban development in new urban areas so that they do not have an impact upon waterways. Guess what? Taking offsets and saying that we'll do it elsewhere is giving up on that goal because it's trying to piggyback it onto existing urban areas. It's not a fundamental change to the way we do urban development and the way water works within our cities, right? The path for water sensitive urban design that I think would fit more correctly with Ray Dalio's hypothesis about, success in life would be to recognise that our first attempt at doing this, stormwater treatment objectives, did not match up to our audacious goal, they did not deliver upon it, that was a problem and that was a challenge, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't stop butting our head against the wall that is our big audacious goal and trying to achieve it with huge amounts of determination. His third item, huge amounts of determination to try different ways of doing this, not to try something else off to the side that takes the heat off for a little bit and probably isn't going to get there in its own right. I've spoken about that before. That is what I take away from this message, that remembering the audacious goal is right. The exact method to get there, our first attempt might not be right, our second attempt might not be right, our third attempt might not be right, our 17th attempt might not be right, but through determination of making sure that we keep trying different things that might deliver on the audacious goal, we might get there in the end. And not taking side steps off to things that take the heat off, but distract us from the audacious goal. And for me, offsets are a distraction, because I do not see a way that offsets, at least the way they're currently being practiced, which is essentially take money to either do riparian rehab upstream or to build regionalised stormwater treatment systems. Neither of those things have the potential to deliver the audacious goal that is a fundamentally sustainable and naturalesque ecosystem within the context of water sensitive urban design. Offsets will not do it. It is a distraction. I hope you found that interesting. Do you think this hypothesis from Ray Dalio makes sense to you? Does it not make sense to you? Because of course, then if it doesn't make sense to you, then the analogy to WSUD is not particularly useful. So let's reflect on that. Does that hypothesis of what leads to success ring true for you? And if it does, then does the analogy to WSUD ring true to you? Or is it a little off the mark? I'd be interested to hear what you think about that. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Before you go, our best episodes come from your questions. This knowledge base, these discussions that are Ideanthro, improve with your contribution. So if there's a topic, an idea, a concept that you would like us to explore, come and ask us. You know where to find us. www.ideanthro.com/contact. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and that place you get your good podcasts from. You know where to find us. We look forward to hearing from you. We'll see you soon.